President Biden's border crisis is surreal at this point. Fox News obtaining incredible exclusive video. This is a new America and our overwhelmed border states. Just come on in. That's not a checkpoint. That's a you can come in point. This is Lukeville, Arizona, a massive group of illegal immigrants just streaming right through an opening in the border wall. Smugglers cut a hole into it. Unfettered, uncaught. Well, we're outnumbered at the border. Our agents can't do everything. Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, whose job it is to keep this from happening, is selling something other than the truth about the scale of the chaos.
Doesn't succeed, have a number, right? We remove them.
You should have a number. I mean, you don't know. Let's say big. Let's just ballpark it. Is it more than 500,000? More than 1 million? 2 million?
Brett, it's well more than 1 million per year.
But you do think it's a crisis now?
Brett, it is a challenge that we have been addressing vigorously with all of the tools and resources that we have been provided.
Marinate on that for a second. That's the same man who says that they lost track of 85,000 migrant children. Just let that sit. Watch Mayorkas now contradict past White House comments on what he still calls, you heard it, not a crisis, a challenge.
The claims that CBP is allowing or encouraging mass release of migrants and is just categorically false. That is not what's occurring.
It's well more than 1 million per year.
Would it surprise you to hear the CBP sources say that currently they are releasing more than 70% of the migrants crossing every day, and sometimes more than that number, higher than 70%? Would that surprise you?
It would not surprise me at all.
What we're seeing here at the border, the migration flow, increased migration flow, certainly it ebbs and flows, and we're at a time of the year where we're seeing more at the border, and it's not unusual.
The numbers are historic. The numbers are extraordinarily large.
I mean, that's uncomfortable to watch. They both have the same boss. That's fascinating. Art Del Cueto, National Border Patrol Council Vice President. Art, when you see people dance around the facts, get some wrong, correct almost each other, and they're not even in the same room, it's uncomfortable because this is really serious now. Our sovereignty is at stake at the border.
Harris, it's angering when you see these conversations and when you hear the comments from these individuals. These are people that are in charge. They should be trying to stop what's coming across the border and make sure that the sovereignty of this country is secure. That's what they need to be doing. Instead, they're lying to the American public, and at the same time, they're ignoring what actually is happening down there. They're ignoring it, and it's record numbers. It's beyond chaotic. You're looking at record numbers coming across, and that's just what they know of. They still don't have any data to know how many are getting away, and with less agents out on the field doing administrative work, now those numbers, they have absolutely zero clue of what they're doing, and make no mistake, the chaos started day one of this administration.
Yeah, they flipped a switch on Trump's policies that were working. And those things were executive action orders that he had taken, things that this president could do too. But what he says is he's going to blame Congress for not enough cash, when he has some quivers in his pack that he can shoot with. But he's not going to do that. So let's get into this. President Biden is claiming that House Republicans want to reduce the number of federal officers, including Border Patrol. This was back in May.
The Republican plan would cut federal law enforcement officers, 30,000, including 11,000 FBI agents, 2,000 border agents, DEA agents, and so on.
Well, White House correspondent Jackie Heinrich was pressing John Kirby on what Biden said just yesterday. Watch this.
Can the administration name a single lawmaker who has called to reduce the number of Border Patrol agents?
A single lawmaker that has called for I would argue, as I think Karine has talked about this. I mean, in the fact that they voted down proposed legislation that would, at the president's urging, increase the number.
The 2,000 Border Patrol agents being eliminated, I think that's a reference to the House DHS appropriations bill. The Republicans say that it actually would have increased the number of Border Patrol agents because it was going to eliminate funds for climate change and clean energy programs. But this is sort of the first time I've been hearing this claim about eliminating 2,000 Border Patrol agents and painting a picture like we're short 2,000 at the border when, in fact, that didn't happen.
When the proposed legislation has additional border agents in it and House Republicans voted down, I'm not sure how else you want to take that.
I mean, they're like children. We have to put them in the same room at the daycare so that they can share their toys because we can't trust them to share on their own. Like, they can't tell one story like the truth on their own.
And make sure you include an abacus so they can learn how to count at the same time. Because I'm going to tell you right now, the number of agents has been diminishing under this administration just by them removing them from, working out on the line and putting them in processing centers. The number of agents has been reduced during this administration because they're leaving the agency because they don't see that there's any backing from this administration. That's how this administration is the one that's responsible for any reduction.
Even more Democrats now are turning on President Biden over his handling of illegal immigration. The surge now that we've been seeing is affecting blue cities across the country. Those sanctuary cities, that's where people want to go. Ask them at the border, they'll call them out to your face. We've seen that with our reporters. Leaders from Boston, Denver, Chicago now are crying out for help. Yesterday, New York City Mayor Eric Adams sued 17 bus companies for taking illegal immigrants into the city. He's looking for more than $700 million to reimburse. To make things worse for New York City, New Jersey law enforcement has been ushering more than 1,000 people arriving in that state onto Manhattan-bound trains, many illegal immigrants, buses diverting to New Jersey after Mayor Adams last week ordered restrictions, you can only arrive in the city certain hours. So if you arrive someplace else, like Jersey, they'll just wait till those hours start in New York and then head there. Look, they understand this is where they want to be.
If you ask people from either side of the aisle, they're going to tell you they want to be secure in their homes. It doesn't matter whether they're on the right side or the left side. They want security.
Look, as we take a look at this, and this is the time of year that we see the numbers tick up even more. I watched something happen in the last couple of days. So down in Texas, we had reporters, and they were seeing fewer people coming in, while Arizona was getting bombarded. And it reminded me of something you told me last summer. If you broadcast that there are fewer resources and that they were having to shut down things in Tucson a week or so ago because they were so overwhelmed, that's exactly where the cartels will then send people because they know it's easier to hit. So they're redirecting. I mean, talk to us about that.
No, that's what it is. Their intel is fantastic. They're paying attention to the news. They're seeing where the areas are, where the gaps are. They have scouts in the United States that are watching the movement, so they know where to go. But what is scary is when you're seeing groups that enter in Texas and the majority is from Central America, then that's what's getting away in that area. When you're seeing groups in areas of Arizona that are coming across from, Egypt, Serbia, Mauritania, then that's what's getting away in those areas. So the numbers that are the encounters are record numbers, and it should be scary. But what is also scary is what's getting away and what we continuously release. And this administration continues to be blind to what is actually happening out on the border.
Yeah, and what you're pointing to are some of those people coming from states that are on, special interests and terror watch lists and that sort of thing. Art Del Cueto, it's a huge job, Art Del Cueto, and you and your team have to do, thousands of you. We are always grateful. Happy New Year to you under tough times.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.